This episode of Soldier Knows Best is brought to you by Netflix. Hey, what's up guys, Soldier Knows Best here. It's been a busy time for cell phones and now it's finally my review of the Samsung Galaxy S4. I'm bringing it to you right now. So I'm going to talk about the design, the hardware, the software, the cameras, and overall this is going to be a worthy upgrade from the S3 and where this phone ranks amongst the other smartphones in the market. So let's going to start this review with a look at the design and the hardware. Now, at first glance, the Galaxy S4 does look a lot like the Samsung Galaxy S3, but when you start to look a little bit closer, you will notice a little bit of differences between the sensor placement at the top and also at the bottom. The home button itself is a little bit more rectangular, and then the bezel around the screen is a lot thinner than the S3. Then you take a look at the back of these devices, you'll find that the flash and the speaker are in different placements, with the speaker being pushed down to the bottom and also the logos in a different place. But when you're actually just looking at them from afar, they look basically similar. But when you do pick up the S4, you will feel the difference in the weight. It does feel lighter than the S3, and also too, it's a lot more boxier in your hand, so that's going to provide a better grip and just feels a little bit more premium than the kind of the rounded feel of the S3. But another positive aspect for Samsung keeping the same design is that the back cover is still removable, so you can take that thing off, and now you can replace the battery with another one to extend your battery life. And also, it still does have a micro SD card slot, so you can expand your storage capabilities up to 64 gigabytes. And now taking a quick tour around the device, on the left hand side you will find the volume rocker, on the right hand side you'll find the power button, at the top you'll find the headphone jack, and then at the bottom you will find a micro USB port. And another hardware addition to this S4 is going to be the IR port, which will now allow you to control your TV with your S4. So it's all built in. The software comes pre-installed. Now after you set it up, now you'll be able to just put your remote control down and just control everything with your phone if you want to. And there have been other phones in the past that had this capability, but Samsung really pulled it off because the software works absolutely great. You can set up to have your favorite channels on there or give you suggestions about what you should watch. And so this universal remote control software is definitely top notch. Now the display on this S4 is a 1920 by 1080 HD Super AMOLED display that has 441 ppi. So this is a 1080p screen and it comes in at 5 inches. And so this display is going to be able to produce nice, bright, vivid images, especially if you're playing back photos and videos that you took with the camera on this phone. And in this software, you can change different settings from dynamic to standard to professional photo or movie mode, depending on what you're doing with this phone. Or you can just choose the adapt display mode, which is going to automatically do that for you. So if you're reading an email, watching a movie, or looking through pictures, it'll adjust the display to give you the best experience. And also, if you want to use this big, beautiful display outside in the cold with your gloves on, you can activate the high touch sensitivity mode, and now you can actually navigate this phone with your gloves on. You don't have to take them off and freeze your hands off. Now take a look at the internals of this phone. This version of the S4 does feature a 1.9 gigahertz quad-core processor, where the international version does have octa-core, but this version also has 2 gigabytes of RAM, and it does come with LTE capabilities, and it does have 16 gigabytes of internal storage. But that is a little bit misleading because you really only have around 8 gigabytes that are available to the user, and the rest is being taken up by system resources. And Samsung has made a statement about this, saying that, oh, we have the micro SD card slot and you can expand it, but I think it's pretty misleading when consumers thinking they're getting 16 gigabytes, and normally maybe 2 to 4 gigabytes would be taken up by system resources. That's not too bad, but when half of it is taken up, that's definitely a problem. And when it comes to benchmarking this phone, this S4 did beat out every other phone that I currently own, but we'll see how the performance translates over to when we take a look at the software portion a little later on in this review. As far as battery life, the S4 does feature a 2600 milliamp battery, and I felt that the battery life is pretty similar to what you got with the S3, but that's not really too bad because the S4 does have a bigger screen and has more stuff going on that it needs to power on. But as far as day-to-day usage, I was able to get between 75 to 80% of my day completely done before I need to recharge this phone. Now let's take a look at the cameras on this phone. Now the front facing camera is a 2 megapixel shooter, and the rear facing camera is now upgraded to a 13 megapixel camera that can also record 1080p HD video at 30 frames per second. And so this camera is definitely improved from the S4. It does rank amongst one of the best cameras that I've seen on the smartphone to date, and does provide very nice images when it comes to pictures and also video. Now low light performance wasn't good enough to beat out a phone like the HTC One, but again, if you're going to be mostly taking your videos and stuff outdoors, you're not going to be disappointed with this camera. And now I'm gonna let you look at some of the 1080p HD video I was able to take with the rear facing camera, so check it out. But probably the biggest new feature of this new camera is not really the camera itself, it's the software that goes along with it. Samsung has added some new creative modes. One is called Eraser, which takes 5 consecutive images and allows you to erase moving objects that are in the background, so you can kind of just keep the focus on your subject. And then also you have a mode called Drama Shot, which allows you to capture somebody who's jumping into a pool or skateboarding or doing whatever, and you can have multiple images of that person in one single picture. And then you also have a mode called Animated Photo, which allows you to basically make a GIF or a GIF, however you want to say it, on your phone. So now you can take a picture and then you can choose which parts of that image are going to be moving and which ones are going to be stationary. You can just edit this with your finger on the screen. And this is, again, another pretty nice, fun mode to have on the phone. Now, one mode that I really do like is called the Dual Shot mode, which allows you to capture a picture or video from the front-facing and the rear-facing camera at the same exact time. And so you can do basically a picture-in-picture. You have different effects to have around the front-facing camera if you wanted to. You can move this around. Then also too, you can do like a side-by-side capture. And this really is going to be great for people who are trying to capture moments. So say your kid scores a touchdown, you can now have the touchdown itself, and then also your facial reaction, which will be good when you're going to be showing this with other people. But all in all, with the camera, it is a nice solid upgrade with the 13 megapixels and actually taking advantage of them. Then also to the software to go along with it. And now let's move on to software, and this S4 does have a lot of new software on it. First of all, it is running Android 4.2.2 Jelly Bean currently at the moment, which is the latest version, but it does have the TouchWiz software skin on top of it. First of all, you have S Health, which is going to help you keep yourself in shape and keep track of your fitness throughout the day. And it has a walking mate, which will count how many steps you're taking. So you have the phone in your pocket or you're carrying it, it will count each step. And so you can also keep track of your weight or what other exercises you're doing. And so if you're really fitness and health conscious, this is going to be a very nice addition to have already built into your phone. Then also you have the Samsung Galaxy Hub, which is going to have all of your media in one single place, from your music, your videos, your books that you have, and you can simply just browse through it using the widget on there, or you can dive into it and buy more media or buy more applications. And also the notification panel is improved as well. So once you slide down from the bottom, most things do look pretty similar, but at the top right hand corner you have this little button you can press, and now you have basically all the toggles that you will ever need in this one little layout. And you can customize this layout if you want to, but this is the nice way to have access to almost every single setting on your phone. Then there's also a group play mode, which I was actually able to try out with other people who had the S4 at the Samsung event not too long ago, and it does work pretty flawlessly. It allows you to connect to all the other different S4s in the room. You don't need to be on the same Wi-Fi network or nothing like that. And now you can share documents like a PowerPoint presentation, or you can all play the same game together, or you can listen to the same music or the same song, so somebody can just start playing a song and it'll play on all the other S4s in the room. So it really makes them like one big speaker. Now on to probably the coolest feature of this phone. You've probably seen this in the commercials. This is called AirView, and this allows you to simply hover your finger over the screen and it will show you certain information without actually having to tap on the screen and go to a totally new screen. So say you're in the emails, you can simply hover your finger over to kind of see the majority of the body of the email if you wanted to, or if you're browsing through your pictures, you can, again, it'll pop up the picture a little bit bigger instead of having to tap into it and go and swipe back and forth. And then something I found out accidentally when I was reaching for my drink over my phone is that I waved over the sensor while I was in sleep mode, and then it brought up this screen that has some basic information, like if I had any missed calls, the time, and how much battery life I have left, and then it went away. You really can't do anything with that screen, but it's pretty handy to have that just one wave away. And so initially I did think on a lot of these air gestures and using your fingers and hovering and all that stuff with AirView was kind of gimmicky, but the more I did use it, the more useful I did find it, and the faster I was able to kind of go through my emails as well. Now, as far as the eye tracking, to be able to track your eyes and things like that, like if you're watching a video and you look away, it'll pause the video until you look back at the screen. That didn't really work that well for me. It worked sometimes, but most of the time it did not work at all. And as far as being able to browse the web and it track your eyes and things like that, it just really didn't work. I couldn't even get it to work for this review to show you how it works on camera, but it is in there if you do like it. Then also in this S4, you do have the ability to do multiple window support, just like you can do on the Samsung Galaxy Note 2. So you can be watching the video in one window and then browsing the web in another window. So this is kind of another take at their multitasking. But for the most part, guys, I mean, there's some other new features in this phone as far as the software, but I mean, I'm not gonna cover every single one of them. But this phone has everything plus the kitchen sink when it comes to software. Now, some people may actually feel that this phone is bloated. It has too much software, but I'll never complain that a company adds a lot of new software features. features. I mean, you can never really have enough, but if you don't like it, just delete it from your home screen. But I did feel performance lag sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes, and that may be because a lot of the system resources are being taken up by all these things that are running. But for the most part, the phone ran just fine. And really, when it comes down to this S4, it's a solid update to the S3. There's a lot of cool new stuff to it. And so if you are an S3 owner, if you're looking to have a better camera, a better and bigger screen as well, and I think really AirView is probably my favorite feature out of the bunch, plus alongside the remote control aspect of it. This phone is a nice solid upgrade, but I don't think everybody will need to do it. I don't think it's going to be as big as an influence that the S3 was on the market, but this S4 does rank amongst the top smartphones out of the market. So if you're looking for a new phone, you're not an Android user, or you have something else besides the S3, this S4 is not going to be a bad deal at all. It's going to be one of the most feature-packed phones ever to be released. And so you can pick up this phone for $200 with a 2-year contract for AT&T, Sprint, T-Mobile, US Cellular, and Verizon here in the United States. And of course, they do have international versions in all the other countries. And so that about wraps my review of the Samsung Galaxy S4. But before I do in this video, I'm just going to take one look at our sponsor. And today's sponsor is Netflix. Now, if you don't know, Netflix is the place to go for streaming movies and TV shows, no matter where you are, to your cell phone, to your TV, to your Xbox, your PlayStation, your Nintendo Wii. Almost every device right now has a compatible Netflix application where you can watch this content on the go. So they have thousands of titles to choose from, so you'll never be bored. If you want to get a free trial membership right now, you can go to netflix.com/soldier. Again, that's netflix.com/soldier to get your free trial membership. Alright guys, again, thanks for watching this video. Please leave a comment down below what you think about the Samsung Galaxy S4, and also all the links to my social networks are down below as well. And thanks for watching, guys, and I will catch you later. Peace.